Cincinnatus was handed absolute power over Rome, dictator. No senate to check him, no rival consul to veto him, total authority during a crisis that threatened to end the Republic before it had really begun. An invading army had a Roman force pinned and surrounded, and the city sent messengers to find him working his own small farm across the Tiber. He left the plow standing in the field, took command, and won the war in 16 days. Then he handed the power back, picked up the same plow, and returned to the same field. No parade was recorded for that day. No monument marks the moment he walked away from the one thing most men never let go of once they've held it. Sulla would later hold the same office and use it to purge his enemies by the thousand. Caesar would hold something like it and never let it go at all. Cincinnatus held more absolute power than either of them for a fraction of the time, and gave it back before anyone had to ask him to. The greatness wasn't in taking the power. It was in the 16 days of work he did with it, and the silence he returned to once the work was finished. That's the part the modern world has lost. Not the ambition, the silence afterward. Regulus understood the same standard from the opposite direction. Captured by Carthage, he was sent back to Rome on parole to negotiate terms, having given his word he'd return to captivity if the negotiation failed. He argued against the very terms that would have freed him, because he judged them bad for Rome. Then he kept his word anyway and went back to Carthage, to torture and death, with no one left to enforce that promise but himself. No guard marched him back. No law would have punished him for staying. He returned because the standard didn't depend on whether anyone could make him keep it. Walk through the Pantheon or the ruins of Ostia, and you'll find marble carved by men whose names were never recorded anywhere. Master stonemasons, spending years on a single frieze, working details 30 feet up a wall where no visitor would ever stand close enough to appreciate the precision, knowing the credit would belong to the temple, or the emperor who commissioned it, or no one at all. They carved it exactly as carefully as if their name had been chiseled into the base. The standard didn't move depending on who was watching, because the standard was never about being watched in the first place. The Vestal Virgins kept the sacred flame of Rome burning for over 1,000 years in a small circular temple in the Forum, mostly unseen by the public that depended on it. A Vestal who let the flame die was scourged for it, because the fire wasn't a symbol to Rome. It was believed to hold the city's fortune inside it. No applause for a fire that didn't go out on a Tuesday. No monument for the 1,000th night it kept burning without incident. Just the same quiet, unglamorous discipline, repeated for centuries by women whose individual names history barely bothered to keep, because the flame doesn't know or care whether anyone's watching it burn. Now look at what passes for greatness now. Nothing happens unless it's filmed. Nothing counts unless there's a witness, a caption, a number underneath it climbing while other people watch. Men train for the camera instead of the standard, eat clean for the camera, wake up early for the camera, and the moment the camera turns off, so does the effort. Take the audience away entirely and ask what's left standing. For most men now, not much. This isn't a small shift. It inverts the entire Roman relationship between a man and his own discipline. Cincinnatus's plow didn't care that he'd just saved the Republic. The stonemason's chisel didn't know his name. The Vestal flame didn't grade its keeper on how the fire looked from outside the temple. Discipline that depends on being seen was never discipline in the Roman sense at all. It was performance wearing discipline's clothes, and performance stops the instant the lights go off. Cincinnatus didn't hand power back because someone was recording it. The stonemason didn't carve carefully because his name would survive on the frieze. The Vestal didn't guard the flame more closely on the nights. A crowd happened to gather outside. Real greatness has never needed an audience, because it was never built for one. It was built for the standard itself, held in private, long before it ever showed up in public where someone could applaud it. That is the Roman standard men forgot. Not the size of the achievement. The silence surrounding it, held by a man who did the work regardless of whether the world was ever going to find out, or whether anyone was left to make him keep his word at all. The fortress is within. Everything else is just weather.